Hello, my little rainbow girl. Oh, you're so beautiful.
Hello my darlings and welcome to a new mood reading vlog. I have already picked up and DNF'd Orlando by Jacqueline Hartman. Now this was about a woman who has this sort of alter ego who is constantly repressed, and one day while she's at a cafe her alter ego spies across the way a dude and thinks, you know what, I'm gonna make a break for it, and they jump out of the woman's body and into the man's body and quickly take control and are thrilled with the fact that they no longer have to restrain themselves or be inhibited, and they can live their life even more freely in a man's body. Unfortunately, just the way it was written and the voice of the alter ego, it wasn't doing it for me. I didn't like it. I wasn't enjoying it. So I did decide to DNF it. I will be going on to S by J.J. Abrams because this is on my TBR for this month. And after that, I'll probably be going on to The Witcher, Crossroads of Ravens. Translation by David French, and it's by, oh fuck, I didn't look it up. Andrzej Sapkowski. I will look that up later. So those two will definitely be attempted or read in full in this reading vlog. Today is my party day. You probably might remember that I said I was going to wear a sparkly red dress. Unfortunately, it wasn't a go. I thought it would have been, but this morning tried it on, didn't fit. And unfortunately the shoes that my beautiful ex-mother-in-law bought for me to go with the dress, aren't they stunning? I will not be wearing them. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to wear that dress with these shoes at one point, but instead I'm just wearing the stretchiest, this is like spandex or lycra material, and it's stretched, you know. So this 40th didn't turn out exactly how I'd hoped, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day what dress I'm wearing. It's about eating and dancing and being merry with all of my loved ones, and this dress will allow me to do that. So yes, things went a little differently. I bought a bra to go with this specifically by Honey Birdette. I'll show it to you. So this is the bra that I wanted to wear. It's got these rhinestones and mesh. Unfortunately, I ordered it online. They forgot to take off the security tag. I'm very annoyed, you know. So this was would have been a better bra, would have just had the little diamonds peeking out rather than, you know, this whole situation. And this whole situation does crowd my titties a little bit. I've got a weird cleavage going on, but gotta make do, you know. I just gotta roll with it. Like I said, you know, hopefully I won't be feeling the need to adjust my tartars all night, but it is what it is. Now, I know I recently said, let me know if you guys like the infographics, and a few people said they did. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be doing them anymore. They take up a lot of time. They take me a lot of time. I have to be more scrupulous in my note taking because I have to write down every content warning that I come across, or what I think some themes are, or what books are similar. Like, it's a lot of note taking, and for me, too much of that takes me out of the story because it's like I'm reading it for English class rather than enjoying it and letting stick what sticks, or you know, whatever snags my attention, rather than purposefully pouring through it, stopping and looking for certain things. It's starting to ruin my enjoyment of the actual reading process. And then like I said, after I have to sit there on Photoshop, and I'm not good with Photoshop. It's not my forte. I'm not a digital, editor or whatever. I like to spend as little time as possible editing my videos and also creating graphics for them. The most enjoyable part for me should be the reading of the book. So like I said, having to keep the infographics in mind started to take away from that reading experience. So no thank you. This is my hobby. This is what I enjoy. I'm never going to turn it into a job that I dislike. So apologies to the people who did like the infographics. I'll try and just, I don't know, remember in my reviews to maybe give a similar book example. Maybe that's helpful to people. Oh, if it's like that, maybe I'll enjoy it. I don't know, things like that. Some of my hair's gone real fuzz. I have the frizziest hair. I could be a Miss Frizzle Brunette edition. Like, I put so much product in my hair today to try and keep it frizz-free. Didn't work. What else? Do I need to tell you about anything else? Just trying to think. No, I think everything I'm up to date on. So yes, I'll be reading these two. I'll update you once I have done any one of them. And now we're going on to my birthday party. I think this will be the last party I have. I realize I really do not like parties. I don't like being the center of attention. It just stresses me out because I'll have to, you know, actually socially engage all night long rather than do what I normally do, which is talk to someone and then go and find a corner to just exist and recharge my social battery. But yeah, this was, you know, just a result of having attended a funeral of a family member who died too young, and me thinking, what if this is the last chance I have to see everybody? I got a bit nihilistic there, a little too focused on death, but it is what it is. It'll be a great night, I'm sure. It's just, you know, it's the cost, you know, you want to celebrate yourself, it costs you money. But we've got food, which I hope to eat. I'm kind of like letting everybody else go, and then once whatever's left, if there's anything left, then I'll grab it because I want to make sure everybody eats. My cakes came. So I've got I'll put the pictures up. I think one's a hazelnut chocolate creme brulee mousse cake, and the other one is a chocolate pistachio cake, if I recall correctly, but I'll put pictures here. So I bought 2, and yeah, I've done my playlist. Only a few people aren't coming, the majority are, and I'm just hoping it's just real chill and fun and everyone just relaxes and has a good time. I want it to be just, you know, very low, what's the word? What am I looking for? But I think regardless, I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna dance, okay? I'm gonna shake my booty. I'm gonna have a laugh. I'm gonna have a bite to eat, and hopefully I'm gonna be back home by 9:30. Is it rude to kick people out of your own party? You know, like, I'm like, look, it starts at 6. I feel, personally, 3 hours is a substantial time for a party. I think at 9 p.m, it's a reasonable hour to say, all right, thanks for coming, everybody. It's time to pack up and go home, you know, because if I can get home by 9:30 and then get into bed, you know, before 10, very good, because I've got a roofer from the insurance coming tomorrow morning at 7:30. 7:30, like I know bill doesn't that start early, but it's like, bro, 8, like it shouldn't start with a 7 because I'm gonna have to get up before then. So I'm not in my pajamas and I've brushed my teeth. But like I said, that's also another motivating factor for me to have an early party and call it a night. But I've been watching a ton of movies because I've had a lot more time now that I'm not on a dating app. I won't give you reviews, but because I do that on my other channel. I watched Freakier Friday with the kids, which is a sequel to the original. I don't feel like it was a necessary sequel. It's a bit weird. It was okay. It was okay. I watched Good Fortune. I think it was something like that, where Keanu Reeves plays an angel who's in charge of stopping people from texting and driving, but he wants to, you know, do more and swaps the lives of a poor guy and a rich guy. It was okay. It wasn't quite what I was hoping to be. I don't think it had utilized Keanu enough, personally. So that was like another 3. And then I watched Fantastic Four, the newest one, that had sort of a 1960s vibe, but alternate universe. They're super advanced with technology. This had a creepy AI baby in it that I was not vibing with. Like it was bad. They were doing AI babies, you know, back in Twilight era, and I feel like Renesmee was less creepy than this dude. So I don't know, I wasn't really that into it, unfortunately. I didn't buy the chemistry between the main 2 couple. She just felt very cold and emotionless to me. So yeah, that probably wasn't a 3. That was more like a 2. I was bored for quite a lot of that movie. There was a few bits of humor, like when they were trying to put a baby car seat in, and even though they're geniuses, they couldn't get it to fit. And we've all, if you're a parent, we've all had that moment with the fucking baby car seats. Let me know down below any films that you've seen recently that are new. And that you think are worth the watch. Oh, a lot of people mentioned that I would like the Demon Slayer and the Jujutsu Kaisen anime. Unfortunately, I don't have that streaming service that they're on. So I don't think I'll be seeing those. Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I don't have any streaming services. I just cut the Disney, which is what I had. Just cut it to try and, you know, slash my costs and my budget. So that being said, there's a movie called Chainsaw Man, which I believe is based on a manga. So I might try that manga next to see if it's worth then seeing the movie that's out. But I'll see you guys at my party. How fun, fun. There's a napkin. You're just gonna have to finger.
Even toothpicks. Forever. No more high school for me. Loser.
I don't know if it's sing, but
Yeah, I know.
I know, that's a very awkward silence. So 40 years ago, this wonderful being graced our lives, and Spiro and I were kids we were babies raising a baby. I was 19, Spiro was 22 when this wonderful human being came in, and closely followed by this magnificent soul here. But we always knew with Chanel that she was very, very special. She always had wonderful life goals. From 7 years of age, she was going to be a volcanologist. Yeah. Remember that?
I was hardcore.
She was going. A volcanologist, and yes, studying volcanoes, and then for her birthday that year, Spiro decided to bake a cake for her, and he baked this magnificent cake, but it went a bit flat. So what Spiro thought he would do is he would slice the cake and bulk it up. But instead of slicing through it, he sliced down the middle and stuck it on top of each other. And we sat there in horror watching this cake just slide off the plate, land on the floor. Chanel's little lips were quivering. And then Spiro saved the day by telling her, but it's a moon cake. It's a moon cake. Look, it's the shape of the moon. And we know how much you love the moon, Chanel. Okay? So he saved the day. That was a memorable birthday for you. So then she grew up, went to school at MLC. I went to school at MLC, got myself expelled because I hated the school. But Chanel, I don't know, everyone was saying, well, how can you send her there? But it was pretty good. And testimony today, here's the girls from Chanel's school, Kim, Kate, Melinda. So these friendships that are formed and taking you through your life, and then met Ryan, got married, had two wonderful, beautiful girls, Valentine and Indiana, and Chanel created her own family. 40, sexy single she is, but just a joy for your father and I, and we love you very much. And it's wonderful that you've got all the family and friends here to celebrate. So we celebrate you today, my beautiful daughter.
I love you,
Thank you everyone for coming. Everyone here means a lot to me. There's not a lot of people in my life that I love dearly, but the few that I love with all my heart and all my soul. I wouldn't be the person I am without each and every one of you. You all own a piece of my heart. I am very lucky to have such wonderful friends and family in my life that have been there for me in the highs and the lows, and that love me and accept me as I am. It means a lot. The last decade of my life has been fun. I hope my 40s are even funner, but with even earlier bedtimes and more snacks. But I don't normally like to celebrate. As you know, I'm a bit socially awkward and my social battery is this small, but I recently went to the funeral of one of my cousins who will never see 50, and I thought, well, how fortunate that I am here at 40. We don't know how many years we have left, so we should celebrate every little thing that we can celebrate while we're still here. So thank you all for sharing this birthday with me. I will remember it for the rest of my life. I love all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Chanel. Happy birthday to you. Hooray! Hooray! Hooray!
This cake is hazelnut chocolate and creme brulee mousse, and this is a pistachio and chocolate cake.
This is all my birthday presents. I got so spoiled. I got so spoiled by everybody. Thank you, all of you. I am so grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, guys. Last night, what's that? Oh, my mum's messaging me. Okay, mum. Last night went really well. I did not get everybody out of there by 9 p.m. My aunt even wanted me to take her clubbing after, and I was like, bitch, no. I'm done. I'm so done. But it was wonderful. But my mum totally threw me under the bus by getting me to do a speech. I wasn't prepared to make a speech. I don't make speeches. That's not my thing. And I was like, fuck. Pull something out of your ass, Chanel. I don't know if you guys are like this, but when I'm put on the spot like that, in here, I don't even know what I'm saying. It's like I've checked out. I've disassociated. There are words coming out of my mouth, but fuck me if I know what I'm saying in that moment. Everyone was like, that was a great speech. And I'm like, I don't know what I said. Did it make sense? The food was great. The venue was fantastic. I ended up having though to plug my phone in for the music. They said that I could have done that over Wi-Fi, but it didn't work over Wi-Fi. So I didn't end up having my phone on me the entire night, which sucked because I like to take a lot of photos and videos of everybody and lots of candids, and so I couldn't be a photographer for the evening. Everyone else took a decent amount of photos, and I got a few videos that I'll share. So I got some fun memories, but I'm exhausted. I am so tired, and I did have a POTS episode right at the end. So I'm probably going to be unwell for a few days, but it's okay. It was worth it. I got to see some family members who live almost 3 hours away. So I only ever see them at funerals, unfortunately. Or the last time I saw them before then was when I gave birth to my children. So it was a long time. They came all that way, and also my best friend Kate. They live really far away, so I appreciate everyone who made such a monumental effort to be at my birthday party. Very grateful for all the presents. But while I was talking to my cousin Phoebe, she was wearing a necklace, and my aunt Helen was talking about, oh, that was Yaya's cross and there's Yaya's ring. And I started crying because I didn't actually get to keep anything of my Yaya's. And Helen was shocked. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no one gave me anything. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of messages. And so Phoebe took the ring off. She kept the cross and she gave me the ring. And so this was my grandmother's ring. So it means so much to me to have something of hers, especially something that she wore. So it's like too big for me, but yeah, I will treasure this because it's a physical reminder of her. I didn't have anything, so I know way to it, and you know, made her feel like she was there with me. But I'm gonna stop being sappy, but just thought I'd come in and say yes, I had a lovely evening, and I'm very fortunate and blessed to have so many people that I love in my life. And I don't regret having the birthday party. I know I was going, oh, I shouldn't have done it, but I'm glad I did it. It was good to have all the people I love in the one room, and I'll remember it forever. But yeah, I'm not rushing to have another party. It's just it's a bit much for me. But this was beautiful, and my children were there. So like I said, I got to celebrate with all of my favorite people in the whole world. A few couldn't make it because they were sick, which sucks, but I'll see them another time. It's just a reminder to you to call a loved one today and tell them you love them. Good morning, guys. I have some updates for you. So I was reading S. So S is a book within a book. So we've got Ship of Theseus. So I'll show you what I mean. So here in this text is the story, the Ship of Theseus. And then the second story is the one that's told in the margins with all the annotations between other characters. So, oh no, I got to make sure I keep, it's also filled with a lot of different mixed media within the pages. And I've got to make sure I keep the mixed media on the right pages. That was close. Luckily I saw where it came out from. There's even one here, like there's little postcards. It's very cool with the way it's done. I want to show you one in particular. Where is it? Oh yeah, here we go. This one's been a bit ripped because it's so fragile. So we've got a napkin that's been drawn on, and it's like a legit napkin. So it's very cool with the way it's done. It looks real, like everything looks legit. But unfortunately, this style formatting is too much for me. I don't know, it's a lot, it's overwhelming. I would read, for the way I did it was I would read the story, oh here we got a photograph. I'd read the story first and then I would read the little annotations. But not only did I find it, you know, challenging and time consuming, I found it boring. Both the story and the annotations. I just felt like this story, The Ship of Theseus, did not warrant this kind of intrigue and note-taking. Like, these were very cool, but the story and the notes, I'm like, guys, you're doing too much. Like, this is not worth it. I don't know, maybe in the end it ends up being really cool and the way it comes together, but I gave it 100 pages and my God, did it take me forever to read those 100 pages. I just thought, it's just not a reading process I'm enjoying. And like I said, the story of The Ship of Theseus, don't give two shits about. And the annotations, like, they were okay, but I wasn't getting invested in the story. So unfortunately, I'm surprised at how well it's held up considering it's a library book. Like, only the napkin had a bit of damage, but that's so fragile. But I am going to have to DNF this. It's just not doing anything for me. I'm going to go on to the Witcher book, and I'm going to the library today to pick up some more books. It's my birthday today, so I am 40 years old today. I'm letting my kid play hooky, so Indy's having her day today, and I'm going to take her out with me because I got given some gift card vouchers, so I decided to give those to the kids, so they've got one each and they can go shopping and buy some things, because I don't need a lot of things. I'm keeping the readings book voucher though, so I'll use that one. So I'm excited for that. That means I might be able to get some books that are still I'm on hold for at the library, and I don't think I'm going to be getting too soon. So I might be able to read some new releases in actual real time, not after the fact. So yeah, we're going out today to do that. I woke up today to no power. It was raining, so I'm assuming the water is tripping something, but the power just came back on. So yeah, I'm pretty exhausted. I've got more insurance people coming today in the afternoon. I've got more incoming the next morning. They've sent so many different assessors out. I think I've had 5 people come so far, and like I said, I've got 2 more coming, and they haven't told me whether or not they're going to cover anything. You know what it's like with insurance companies, guys. I don't know. I'm just trying to be like, you know what, Chanel, maybe your bad luck's coming to an end and the insurance is going to cover it, and you're going to be like, great, I don't have to spend my entire life savings on keeping the house habitable so I can stay here for a few more years. So I don't know, pray for me, guys, that luck will shine down upon me and bless me with an insurance approval, because we know it didn't happen for my car. Chanel, it's on you. So, I don't know. I feel like now that I'm 40, maybe that's a turning point. Maybe it's like, all right, you got to 40 now. Everything's going to be roses, baby. So like I said, I'm just being optimistic and looking at the bright side. And I think that just helps. You know, I'm laughing. I'm using humor to deal with the hard times, and it helps, you know, make it a dark comedy. It's not the end of the world. Like I said, first world problems. I'm very lucky. So I'll take, you know, I can roll with the punches. It's all good. So yes, I'm going to go out to Westfield now with Indy, and then tomorrow I'll be taking my other daughter out so she can go shopping. But so I'm doing my stuff today because she's just that kind of shopper that she'll want to try 50 million things on, and that's just going to take all my energy, so I won't have energy to shop for myself. But I'm doing it with Indy today because she's going to be real quick, I bet you. Pop Mart?
Yes.
Yeah, she's just come in and Heard me talking Pop Mart. That's where we're going. Blind boxes, guys. Don't spend the whole gift card there. Oh, bro, like, come on. How many do you need? Anyway, we've got to go. All of them. I'll see you guys later with some updates. Of course, this is where we are. This is where Indy's spending all of my birthday cash. I think this is another sign I need to give the Chainsaw Man graphic novels a go, or manga. It's manga, isn't it?
Or Sylvie. This
Alright.
one is also cute, but it's not as Nova.
Yeah.
Or this one, because this one also looks a bit like Sylvie.
Okay. We need to cut your nails when we go home, mate.
No, you do not.
You
Please.
got claws.
After I do all the blind boxes, so it's gonna be
Okay.
Ooh,
What did you think you got?
it's a half Sylvie.
Oh, it's the black and white one.
It's a grey though. It has grey on it. It's a
Oh.
grey one. Sylvie.
Alright, it's time to do some damage, guys. What am I going to get?
So that one was the other one.
Yep.
Now this one. I usually don't like Skull Panda, but this is so nice.
Hey, Sylvie.
Okay, why is it so hard to open? Okay. You can see the card.
You already saw it. You just spoiled yourself.
Oh, I only saw it for 5 seconds, so I don't really know what this one is. I can't see it.
Hey, Sylvie.
This one looks so cool.
Careful, don't break it.
Wait, what one's this one?
The asymmetrical balance. Let me see it, Indy.
Oh my god, I thought that was a secret.
Haha,
Oh my
no.
god, this
Oh
one's
my
really
god,
cool.
Sylvie.
Now this one.
Okay, so.
Can you do the first peek of this? Like it. Tell me, is it one with his eyes closed?
No, unfortunately.
Dang it. Oh, I really like this one. Oh, dang it, I really want one with his
I
eyes
know.
closed.
That's the thing with blind boxes. You don't know what you're
Okay.
going to get.
Now the big one. This one's super expensive.
Yep.
I really want this one
Okay.
because when there's not much options. Sylvie extra luck.
Sylvie found
Wait,
it for you.
there's a card there, but I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
This one. One of these chips. Like I got one of these. I really like them. Let's see the red ones. Oh my god, this is so hard to unbox. This one is so cool. This is so cool, bro.
No.
This looks like I just spent $100 on it. I'll see that one later because. Oh, okay, it's red. It's red. I knew it was red. Oh, I think I know what one I got. Yes, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite.
That was your favorite. You got your favorite. Let's have a look at it properly. Okay, I'm back. I've got Nova in the background. Hey, Nova. Hey, Nova. Hey, honey. She's so cute. Okay, let me show you my haul. So we'll start with Mecca. So I got my beauty loot box for my birthday. And so I got a free, this is a dry shampoo, which great, I do use that because, you know, sometimes can't wash your hair every day. I also got some snacks. So I got these Atomic Peach Gummy Rush things. And I got a protein bar. I keep trying them because I keep thinking there's got to be one out there that I like. So this is Peanut Chocolate Caramel Crunch. Let me try these on camera. So I got the gummy first. So you want to try it and do?
I hate these before.
They're good. I think so too. They're actually quite good. They're not too bad. What would you rate them?
7.5 or 8.
7.5, yeah, I reckon the same. All right, let's try the protein bar. Okay, for a protein bar, it's good, but still not like, ooh, yum, you know? But for a protein bar, it's fine. Like, the texture is fine. Sometimes I have an issue with the texture, but that was fine. Now, so I just kept the readings voucher for myself. So I got that thanks to my Uncle Dean, Auntie Mary Lou, Cousin Oliver, and Cousin Izzy. So So thank you guys for that. And I got a lot. So there were 2 books that they didn't have in stock that they've ordered in for me. And that is Kill the Beast and The Second Death of Locke. So I'm skipping the library queue and I couldn't be more happy. Indy did pick something with my voucher as well. She got this pumpkin spice candle and she got, yeah, she got a bookmark. I said, "Are you going to start reading, babes?" Okay, so let me show you everything else I got. So one of them is a 5-star read that I've already gotten, and that is Freden by Kanehito Yamada. And this was number 1, so I'm not going to buy the whole series. I just wanted something to signify one of my favorite, well, my favorite manga series of all time. So I'm very happy for that. I also got Recipes for an Unexpected Afterlife by Destin J. Munden. I don't know what this is about, so I didn't look any of these books up. I just got them. Some I'm familiar with, some I'm not, so I've never heard of this before. It says, an undead orc knight leaves battle behind for a new kind of afterlife. One with good food, good friends, and maybe even fatherhood. Is this like very cozy? A cozy fantasy? Not sure, but this looked like a really cool cover. Hadn't heard of it. This one I have heard of. I believe it's Medieval Legally Blonde, and this is The Princess Knight by Kate Jacobs. Love is a Battlefield, so there's that one. I got The Deathless One by Emma Ham. Her death is just the beginning. With her resurrection comes a thirst for revenge that only a god can quench. I think I read a mermaid book by this author, and that's why I was like, oh, give this a go. I don't know, but caught my eye. And like I said, I think I've read from that author before. Now, these are books that I did have on my TBR. So we have The Slip, stories by Merriam Webster. Like, this was a cover ad, and it is a collection of uncanny dark humor short stories. So I might do this in my wild ones because it's not many people that have read that. One sec. That's okay. That was the people that are coming today to assess stuff. They're going to be late. And Exiles. So this is by Mason Coyle. This is a sci-fi about a human crew sent to prepare the first colony on Mars, and they arrive to find the base destroyed. So yeah, this is, I'm like 7th in the queue and they haven't even got it in at the library yet. So those are all the books, and like I said, the other 2 I'll be collecting in about 2 weeks from readings. But very excited. So thank you so much, my family, for my massive haul. I don't normally, as you know, buy new books to read. I normally only buy books I've already read, but now I get to read them sooner rather than later.
Look at your little fangs. You're so cute. Oh my god, Bluebell. I'm dying. The tongue's out too, guys. The tongue's out too. Have you got any more faces to pull? Oh, that's a teeth.
Good morning, guys. I just finished uploading and watching my good reads video, and I realized I was pretty much doing Go Girl Give Us Nothing. It was just quick initial glance and very little discussion about what I actually thought of the nominees this year. So I thought, okay, I'll expand it a little bit. So out of all 300 books nominated, I picked up or fully read 59. So not many considering I read so many books. I was a bit surprised that I'd read or picked up so few of the nominees. I was then surprised that the ones I'd picked the most of were horror. I thought for sure I'd read more fantasy, but once again, it's the issue of they're putting books in a series in the category. So if you read the first book and you don't want to continue in the series, any subsequent books that get nominated, you're not going to have read. So I really do think that they need to make a separate category for books in a series. I also think they need to bring more categories back in general, especially if there was only one, I'd ask for graphic novels, manga and comics, so you can combine all of those, but I think there really needs to be a category that can represent that format of storytelling. I also think they need to do away with multiple books from the same author because it actually doesn't serve the author. Frida McFadden had 3 nominations, and what that'll do is it'll split her reader base into 3. It's splitting the votes. She's probably not going to win because of that. If she had one book, every Frida McFadden stan would vote for that one book and she'd take out the category. So putting 3 of her books on there not only robs places for other authors to get their work spotlighted, but it also robs her of a potential win. So that's just beyond stupid. Also, some of my viewers, thank you very much, did comment and make known to me that quite a few of the books that were nominated were literally released the day of the nominations, which means that no one in the general public has read them. The only people that would have read those books were people who'd received ARCs. So it boggles my mind that books that came out on the 11th, my birthday, by the way, were nominated on the 11th. What? Okay. I was also disheartened to see that in the adult romance category, there were no queer romances, not that I could see of anyway. In the YA there was a bit more diversity, but in the adult, nothing? Guys, like, I don't know if you knew this, but quite a few of us are gays. It'd be nice to see at least one very queer book in the romance category. Gay love is real too, my dudes. Besides that, as I've mentioned, I've been watching some other booktubers. I saw Lid Loves, I saw Shani, I saw Gabby, and they all mentioned too that they hadn't read many of the nominees, and we're all in the booktube sphere where, look, we do read a lot. So I thought that was interesting that this year seems to have very few nominees that most of us are familiar with, you know, and I think we all would have been expecting to have read a few more, or at least know majority of the books that were nominated. So once again, we're all left in the dark about how Goodreads goes about choosing their books. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how we go. As I said, I decided that I'm just going to wait until the winners are released. And if I haven't read the winner for horror or fantasy or romantasy or whatever, I'll read it and see what I think. But we all know that once the books are nominated, the voting is just the popularity contest. I saw some other booktubers voting for books they had not read just because they knew the author. And yeah, look, it's not that serious. Everyone can do what they want, but I don't know. I just feel, I don't know, I've got like this weird thing with like competitions and integrity. I feel like, well, you should only vote for the book if you read it and you really think it's fantastic. But yeah, everyone can do what they want. So if they want to vote for books that they haven't read at all and they just want to vote for something, they can. And that's why I don't put too much weight on the winners. I don't really necessarily correlate the winner of the Goodreads Awards with the best book in that genre. And someone, I can't remember which one of you it was, but someone did say that they would like maybe if there was some other kind of book awards going on. Someone else did some book awards, maybe Fable, maybe Storygraph, I don't know. So we could get something a bit more legit. But I think some booktubers also do their own Goodreads Awards at the end of the year, best in the genres. Might do that in my wrap up as well, what I thought the best book in a particular genre was. But I thought I'd just, expand a bit upon my first reaction because it was so minimal. Like I said, I was literally rushing because it was a school pickup, but I'd just seen they were released and I wanted to film it straight away, but then it was not the right time. All right, so books. I unfortunately did DNF the Witcher book, Crossroads of Ravens. So this is about Geralt's early days when he's still green, he's still young, and he gets taken under the wing of a more established Witcher. Guys, I don't know if it's a translation issue, but the writing was not it. It was choppy. The dialogue felt really stilted and just unrealistic, and the women are hella objectified. I keep getting told about titties and wenches and, well, listen, the soldiers are stationed in no man's land, and there's no women there. So if, you know, they're on the roads and a woman comes along, I'm not condoning it, but can you blame them? Yes, I can blame them for raping women on the road. They don't have to. That's a choice. So yeah, I wasn't vibing. So I didn't have that. And then I picked up one of the books I just bought, which is a treat, and that was The Recipes for an Unexpected Afterlife by Destin J. Munden. So after centuries of smiting heroes and guarding crypts, an undead orc knight hangs up his sword and picks up his spatula. His name is Rutgar, and Rutgar's Rutgar's joints creak. His body is being held together. His kind of reanimated body is being held together with duct tape and necromancy. And his new dream in the last years of his life is to open a cozy cafe for the undead. And between trying to keep his rotting body from falling apart, no one wants to find a finger in their food, he ends up having to protect this mysterious orphan with dubious ancestry. And I think he might find some found family and good food along the way. I'm not super far into it. I think I'm about 50 pages in, and I'm still not sure. So the book opens up with Rutgar being forced into retirement. They're like, you're done, dude. You've been undead for hundreds of years. You've done your time. Enjoy your life. And like I said, they kind of resurrect him in a way, but you know, it's not the best body, and it'll do him for, I think they said, another 40, 50 years. So the beginning of the book is heavy on the exposition. We're learning all about some of the species in this world. We're learning about Rutgar being part of the Death Knights and meeting some other members of the Death Knights that are still serving, and kind of learning about magic and former battles. So it was, you know, it was a lot to kind of process. And at this moment in time, I'm about 50 pages in, and I'm not sure whether it's going to lean more cozy like Legends and Lattes, or if it'll be a bit more serious like The Teller of Small Fortunes. You know, I'm not quite sure which way it's leaning, what this book is going to end up being. The cover kind of screams a bit more cozy, but I don't know, like he's already come across like a mob boss in the town that tried to, you know, shake him and his elf friend down because he needed to procure a cafe business site, but he's managed to do that. But the guy's giving him hella mad greasies. So yeah, I don't know how violent or gruesome or whatever it's going to be. We'll see. It's a thick book for obviously if it ends up leaning way too cozy for me, it's not going to be my jam. Like my cozy was Teller of Small Fortunes or The Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. There is like elements of danger in there, and it's not just former magical soldiers baking pies now. So we'll see how it goes. What else am I going to be picking up? I've got to go, so I'm not getting What Hunger and Thief of Night today. They're from the City Library. So I'll get those tomorrow. So I'll be reading What Hunger and Thief of Night, and I'm heading to Doncaster Library today. So we'll see what they've got. I might pick one of those. Even though I've bought all these books, yeah, I'm still going to favour the library books over my own collection, which is why I don't tend to buy new books to read. I tend to, because I have more urgency with the library books. But if I was to pick, let me go and grab my new set of books. Okay, I think if I was to pick one of the new books that I bought to slot in, I'd probably go with The Deathless One by Emma Ham. I feel like this is maybe a bit of a romantasy. Wouldn't mind reading that because, yeah, Slip is going in weird ones. I keep calling it Wild Ones from my old book vlog. And then I'll save Exiles and The Princess Knight because I just read The Everlasting. So I've just read Lady Knights. I'll save those for the next mood reading vlog. And as I said, the mood reading vlogs after this one are just going to be filmed over a week. Whatever I read in that week, that's what you get. I think it's going to be a much better system than this 5 books situation because we all know I like to DNF. And I'm a big advocate of DNFing. Life is very short. You will never ever get to all the books you want to get to in your life. So there's no need to persist in a book you're not enjoying. You're not being forced to read it. It's not mandatory for you to finish that book, and it doesn't serve you because you're not enjoying it. It's wasting your time. And it doesn't serve the author because no one wants to end up getting a 1, 2, 3-star review. So I do not see the need to push through unless, like I said, you're doing study. It's for academics. It's for a job. If it's just for a hobby and enjoyment, put the book down, pick up another one. There's so many. And your next 5 stars just waiting for you to grab them. I want to say thank you to one of my new subscribers that sent me a super thanks little donation. That was very sweet. I've never gotten one of those before. And for all of my birthday wishes. So some of you know it's my actual birthday in real time and sent me messages. So I really appreciate it. Like, Izzy, you were the first person to send me a happy birthday message. So that was so cute. So I really appreciate it. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy if watching me brings you even a little bit of joy or entertainment or a new book to read, you know. What's happening today? So I've got more insurance people accompanying. I don't know what's going on with me lately. I'm starting to fumble my words and not enunciate, and that I've noticed I'm being a bit more ochre sometimes in how I'm speaking. I have more insurance people coming.
Hello, come right in. I will.
But I'm also taking V out today. So she's getting to use one of the vouchers and go shopping. So I'm predicting close with that one. That's what I think. And yeah, the library and then home. Oh, the little fox came again last night. It's so cute. And I'm like, should I feed a fox? I probably shouldn't leave food out for the wild foxes, but I know that they are scavengers and they do try to eat human food. And I don't know what he was looking for, hoping for to find on the lawn, but he's cute and he comes every night. I don't know if it's a he, could be a vixen, could be a she, but they're very cool. And I thought about, it was 5 a.m. this time that they came, and I thought about going out to say hello, but then I thought, oh, that might scare them off. So no, you know what I want to scare off? The rats in my roof. I would very much like for them to fuck right off, because they've been throwing parties lately, and I'm starting to get to the point where I'm thinking of exterminating them. Didn't want to, don't like killing animals, okay? I really don't. But these bitches were running up and down my roof and walls from 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. When am I meant to fall asleep? When am I meant to go to bed? Scratch, and it annoys my cats too. They, you know, run to the wall and they'll jump up on the curtains because they're trying to get close to the roof, and they can hear them and it stresses everybody out. I'm guessing they can probably smell them too. So I'm also worried that they might end up chewing through cables, because I heard that sometimes rats can cause fires and shit in your house. So I think it might be the point where I have to get them to vacate the premises, and I feel really bad about it, but I don't think we can continue to cohabitate any longer. But that's everything. And I will touch base with you guys when I return with the library haul. I'm trying the matcha brulee.
Well, Indy came into the shop.
Little cat prince, little paw prince. Is it because of you?
It probably is because of her. Yeah.
Okay, just got back. No library haul because we were too tired to go to that. But one of my books that I ordered, thanks to my cousins and aunts and uncles, came in. The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovolino. So I will be reading this in this reading vlog because this is a highly anticipated book. This is a chonker. How many pages is this one? 465. So I'll be reading that. I'm very excited. I got Honey Cheese by Hers. I actually do like these. I've tried them before. They're nice. And Mecca had another Beauty Loop box thing, and this was a little perfume. So I got to pick out of a few scents. So it's Replica by the Fireplace. So I'm excited to try this out, and I'll be reviewing it on my other channel, but it looks like it's going to be autumnal and cozy and probably a little bit spicy and smoky. So that's fantastic. What else? V bought tons of clothes. Indy got a boba. We had a we had an eventful time, but I also read quite a bit. So let me tell you, Bluebell's asleep over there, what I read. So as you know, I was reading Recipes for an Unexpected Afterlife by Destin J. Munden. All right, so I just felt like it was way in my face. Okay, so I read half. I read 50% of this book, and it was very much giving slice of life, fantasy, necromancy style with a lot of cozy community and found family and friendship and food, essentially. It was a bit too cozy for me. I read half the book and he was still doing renos on his future restaurant. The pacing is real slow, and I just felt like the Insta friendship, Insta found family was a bit much. Like he just met that elf, and that elf is just like, I'm going to help you not get hoodwinked by these people. And we're just going to be friends and we're going to go into business together. And then the girl comes along. She's just like, I like you and I'm going to protect you and take care of you and you're going to feel fatherly towards me. I don't know. I wasn't invested, unfortunately. And I was feeling like a 3-star read. I am very fussy with cozy in that I like so few. It has to have a certain balance, and this one was a bit too cozy for me. So I did DNF that, and then I picked up The Deathless One by Emma Ham. So imagine getting murdered at your own wedding, and instead of haunting your ex, you end up getting resurrected by death himself and possibly start up a flirtatious situationship. And our main character, Jessamine's new life goal, now that she's back from the dead, is to team up with the god of death and take down her backstabbing former fiancé and hopefully not fall in love with her deadly conspirator along the way. It was like giving Corpse Bride and Game of Thrones and I Can Fix Him. Look, so I did go and look up Emma Ham, and I have read a lot of her books. Some I really enjoy, so I think 3.5, 4 star, and a lot I DNF'd. So she does seem to be a hit or miss author for me. This one, the writing style was just not doing it for me. I believe this is YA because it was coming across as YA, but my biggest gripe were the characters. So Jessamine and the Deathless God were coming across as edgy, angsty teenagers, and I'm like, It was not doing anything for me. I just wasn't enjoying it. So I decided to DNF. But that means I can go on to the second death of Locke until I go and pick up some library books. So this is what I'm going to be reading. So I believe this is about a knight and her mage, and in this world, mages have to have wells of magic. So there's certain people that are, I guess, a well of magic that the mage can tap into to fuel their magic. And she is this particular mage's knight and well of power, and I think eventually they fall in love. So I'm guessing it's friends to lovers, but it turns out she's no ordinary wellspring of magic. I believe that if she kicks the bucket, all magic dies with her. So there's some stakes involved, and like I said, I think it'll be a slow burn friends to lovers, more lady knights. Lady knights are very much so hot right now. So yes, I'll be going on to this, even though I did just read a Lady Knight book. All right, and I'll touch base with you guys when I've got something to update you on.
Oh yeah, Blue. Let's start reading.
Hello, my lovelies, my beautiful, beautiful people. I have read some more books. Let me just bring up what I read. Oh, that's right. This is what I read. I read The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovolino. There are some lovely illustrations in this. So you get this repeating motif of a knight's hands and a heart, because the main mage in this, his magic is to do with the heart. And then you get these part chapter headers, which are lovely. So in this book, we have the knight, Grey Flynn, and she is essentially a walking battery pack for her hot mage boyfriend, Kier, whom she's known since she was a child, but has stayed in the friend zone thus far with. She heals him. So she is a well of magic for him to draw upon, but she also heals him. She fights for him. So she's his sword, and she powers his magic like a human USB cord. In the book, they're given this quest, which they have asked to be their final quest, in which they are to escort a hostage, a prisoner, with a supposed certain identity to other people. And predictably, things go sideways and secrets are spilled and loyalties are tested, and Gray's like, surprise everybody, I'm the missing magic heir. Because in this book, there's an island of Locke, and the family of Locke there was an heir of Locke, and they are the power cord connecting everybody to the magic. They're like the Wi-Fi router system to keep everybody connected. And one of the other surrounding countries made a play to try and seize the heir, seize the power, and the family self-detonated. And supposedly there was one survivor, so the entire island went kaboom, and there was one survivor, and it was supposed to be the boy Severin, but it says on the back here that Kia is the heir of Locke, so it's not a surprise, It's not a plot reveal. She's the heir, and if she dies, all magic dies with her. So this book is less about chosen ones and more about bound ones. It's about loyalty versus autonomy. So Kia and Gray, first and foremost, are loyal to each other, not their regiment or their government, so to speak. And as I said, they've been wanting to be free. They're no longer wanting to be wielded weapons used to slaughter others and further the aims of the government. They just want to be beholden to each other and each other alone. So their love is devotion, big theme. I'll live for you, I'll die for you. It's also about sacrifice and the burden of power and fate and free will, if you will. So, unfortunately, this ended up being a 3 for me. What I did love is that this world is just naturally queer. It's just what it is. So both Kia and Gray seem to be either, bisexual, pansexual, but never sexual with each other. I also like, lady knights and boy mages, and, sometimes I do love longtime friends to lovers situation. But there were a few things that bothered me. First of all, the length. I think this could have been a 300-page book because it was so slow-paced. It really was. And the magic system didn't make a lot of sense to me. So as I said, you've got, not everyone seems to have magics, but it's not really explained how many of the populace have magic. So I don't really know. It's also not really explained what the magic is most used for besides war, like killing and healing. Like how is it used for other things that keep society running, or not really? They said too that people tend to specialize in the way that the mages can wield the magic. And we've been told since the island of Locke was blown to smithereens that no new wells have been born. So to me, that means the wells should be the most highly valued resource and members of society because they are in limited supply. And yet in this book, the mages are treated like gods, and the hands, the wells, are treated like servants, or not even servants, slaves. They're treated less than, and that makes no fucking sense to me. They're necessary. They're vital. There's only so many of them. Why would you treat them like shit? Why would you treat them as if they don't have a choice? They just pass to whoever and they have no say. And like I said, they cannot speak unless spoken to, essentially. And it makes absolutely no sense to me. They're even treated as subordinates by the mages themselves, except for obviously Kia and Gray that have an equal partnership. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like I said, there's only so many wells left, and mages need wells. Otherwise, they're flaccid dicks, pretty much. Like the wells are their Viagra. It's the only way that they can get hard and go to work. So make that make sense. What also doesn't make sense is the wells, the hands, are also the sword hands, and they're required to be trained in sword fighting and be the bodyguards too of the magicians, which also doesn't make sense because once again, they're rare, they're necessary, they're valuable, they're assets. Why are they meant to be acting as the bulletproof vests of the mages? Especially too, a lot of the wells seem to be women. And I'm like, look, can men not fight? Would it not make sense for mages also to to be trained in arm-to-arm combat in case their well is killed, because otherwise they're left defenseless, aren't they? So that also didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why is she, Grey, the only one that fights in arm-to-arm combat? Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense, especially too because the mage needs her to heal. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. There was some inconsistencies and some just things that just didn't make sense to me, or a bit silly, personally. In this world too, they've banned bonding, so the bonding between a mage and a hand, because it means that they can only plug into each other. It means that they cannot plug into any other mage or hand. So they want everybody to be able to be subbed out if necessary. But Kia and Grey will only work with each other. I wonder why. So yeah, magic system, world building didn't work for me, unfortunately. And then you have the instant found family when Kia and Grey are given a handful of other mages and hands to escort them, to help escort this prisoner across the land. And all of a sudden, you know, they'd get along straight away. They realize, Grey's hidden identity almost instantly. It was just a bit, I don't know, everything just felt very forced and written and not realistic. Speaking of not realistic, you're telling me these two, Kia and Grey, have had the hots for each other for 16 years and never acted on it. And not only that, guys, they're already being physically affectionate. So Grey says in the book that, you know, Kia's just this very tactile person, so he's always kissing her, not just kissing her lips, kissing her knuckles, kissing her temple, holding her in his arms. She strips down naked and he gives her rub downs. I'm like, bro, I love my friends, but we ain't doing that shit. We're not doing that. So I just thought it was a bit, this is too bright, I reckon. I just thought, guys, no one's buying this. You're all touching each other and feeling each other up on a daily basis and like sleeping. She would like crawl into bed and he would spoon her, and I'm like, yeah. It's definitely, he definitely doesn't feel anything for you. He definitely wouldn't bang you when he's banging everybody. Like, surely he's not interested in you that way. If she's like, I don't want to ruin the friendship. And I'm like, it's not friendship what you guys have. It's a relationship where you're just abstaining from sex. That's all it is. And look, there was this icky thing where she would bring up, or he would bring up, like their past lovers when they were getting it on. Like, did you do this with your last lovers? Is this what you always do with your lovers? And I'm like, that's a bit icky. Like, why would you want to bring past lovers into the bedroom when you're getting down with your partner and remind them of the fact they used to fuck other people and they maybe fucked other people in the same way they're fucking you? Like, I don't know, it didn't feel romantic to me. And because this is first and foremost it's a romantasy. It is a romance book. The main pin of this book, the foundation, is the love between these two. And I have read Friends to Lovers that worked. This didn't work because there wasn't this sort of graduation of friends into slight flirtation, into, you know, the touching, the crossing of the boundaries. They were already flirting and touching each other from the get-go. So there was no build up to anything. It was just us waiting for these idiots just to say, yeah, oh, hey, I dig you. Yeah, me too. Let's bang. There is sex in this. I would call it M because it's on page, but it's very brief and it's not super graphic. So yes, so unfortunately, as I said, it didn't turn out as I'd hoped, just the way the story was told. And like I said, the lack of world building and magic system and romantic chemistry, things of that vein. I think if I was going to say what books are similar, it'd be Night and the Moth and perhaps The Isle and the Silver Sea. I haven't read that, but based on its synopsis with the witch and the knight, I would say it's a fair bet. It's a bit similar. So then after that, I went on to Exiles by Mason Coyle. Welcome to Mars, where the air is unbreathable, the walls of your home station are cracked, and your new co-workers are 3 robots who've developed their own pathos and gone rogue. So in this book, we have a human crew sent from Earth to colonize Mars, and, you know, they just want to touch dirt and unpack some shit and start humanity's next big chapter, but instead, when they arrive, things have gone horribly wrong and they end up playing detective in this cosmic murder mystery where the suspects are AI with trust issues, or could it possibly be something else? All of the stories don't match up. So this is a claustrophobic, very fast-paced. I actually love that sometimes, just getting thrown into the action. And it's also a kind of philosophical, locked room mystery that is set against the blood red desolation of dusty Mars. There's mostly the themes of isolation, the very real loneliness that comes with exploration and being trapped, if you will, in a remote location with very few other people. There's also grief, a lot of grief because of some of the backstories of the human crew. And it is vastly about the stories that we tell, and it's all woven together in this cosmic pressure cooker. So we've also, with the AI and the human, it's about consciousness and creation, because the AI have seemingly evolved and developed their own consciousness and their own opinions and feelings. So it's that humanity versus a machine morality. And the overarching theme is also truth, like I said, truth and storytelling. There are quite a few trigger warnings. I would say the main ones would be cutting, so I wasn't expecting that. And I don't think it was absolutely necessary, to be honest with you. And murder, you know, a lot of killing, and it's a different thing. Yeah, look, I can't talk about it. There was something revealed later on in the book, and I was like, fuck, bro, that's heavy, that's dark, that is full on, whoa, okay. So yeah, check the trigger warnings. But I really love this. This was a fun time. I gave it a 4.25. It was just really, like I said, action-packed. I was caught up in it. I wanted to know what is going on. Who is, wait, let me read the blurb. Okay, yes, so it's telling you that the new base has been attacked, has been destroyed, and is it the robots or is it something else, and who's telling the truth? So I wanted to know, yeah, what was going on, who could be trusted, who was a liar, pants on fire. And with the characters, there's Gold, who is our main girl, and she's got two men with her. The men characters, I just felt, I don't know, they felt a bit odd to me. And it's mostly Gold who is the most developed and the only human character that you really form a connection to. So the others are just kind of fodder, if you will. And then you've got the robots themselves, and they've got their own personalities and genders and everything. But yeah, look, it was just a fun time. You know, it's a killers in space, or killers on an uninhabited planet situation. So I really like the cover. I think it's eye-catching. If I had to pick books that were similar, I would say this is a mix of The Martian and The Fourth Consort, kind of, with also a little bit of Swallowed by Meg Smitherman, but no erotic stuff, no sex stuff. Like, they joke about the fact that they've been told over and over again, don't fuck each other, do not do that, you are not given leave to procreate, if you will, so do not bang each other. So, you know, it's every now and again, one of the dudes will be like, fuck you, Gold, and she's like, told you I'm not interested, not allowed to do that, yada yada. But there's no sex stuff in here. So that was great, that was fun. What am I going on to next? I'm going to the library, so I'm going to get What Hunger and Thief of Night today. So I will be going on to probably Thief of Night, I think, because I want to read that sooner, since, you know, that is a sequel to, oh my god, what was the book called? Holly Black, I can't remember. I'll put the #1 book on there, and this was about shadows, if I recall, shadow magic. So I'm going to be doing that. You'll see me actually go to the library and whatever in my It's the Vibe blog, but I will, yeah, be reading that next. Did not like that other one.
So unknown, but this pistachio.
Oh, I've got all the cats in the one room. Today's actually a warm day, and my 14-year-old decided that she's just going to get rid of a lot of her shit, and now I'm left to... Where am I even going to donate that stuff? That's just way too big for donation bins, and I bet you Indy's going to lay claim to all of it. Hello, my lovely people. Do I have the books here? No, I've already put them away. Okay, so let me tell you what I read. So I did pick up Thief of Night by Holly Black. So I'll tell you about the first book, Book of Night, because this is the sequel. So in the Book of Night, you have Charlie Hall, and Charlie Hall is this former con artist who used to steal magic from Glomus. Now, Glomus are shadow magicians who can manipulate their own or other people's shadows, and they can use them for all sorts of illegal activities like assassinations, illusions, theft, and everybody in this world seems to want the ability to extend or control their shadows. But it is dangerous, and the practice itself is corruptive. And after one very disastrous job nearly leaves Charlie dead, she decides to swear off that life. So she becomes a bit of a bartender and hustles odd side jobs and just tries to make ends meet. And then a man named Adam wants Charlie to steal a very mysterious particular book. And that book is a cursed grimoire that contains secret to controlling shadows entirely. And of course, multiple terrifying people want it too. And it's just too big of a payday for Charlie to pass up. And that is how she ends up in this romance with this guy. And his name is Vince, and he's quiet and he's sweet and he's good at everything. But there's something sus about him. And then we get to book 2 and Charlie's back. She's older and sadder and still unable to resist saying, sure, I will do more crime for the worst people in order to protect the person I love. Now, unfortunately, so I read just over 100 pages and then I decided to call it a day. The best thing about book 1 was the relationship between Charlie and Vincent. That is not in this book for various reasons. The first 100 pages, it's just the dynamic is not there. And so we've got Charlie and all these other characters, a lot of other characters that I didn't give a about. And it was boring. The plot, Charlie doing the work for these people was boring. Yeah, it just did nada for me. And I don't know, the writing also was just not it this time around. And like I said, I enjoyed Book of Night. This one wasn't feeling it. And then I decided, no, I'm going to DNF, and I skipped ahead and read towards the end. And I would have been very unhappy, Jan, if I had spent more time on this book. It's not the story I was wanting as a sequel. So I did DNF that. And then I picked up What Hunger by Catherine Dang. And so this is about Ronnie, who just wants to survive high school and meet her parents' high expectations and just get through the world being a teenage girl. And then one day, grief and rage awaken a hunger for flesh, quite literally. This teen girl gets hangry enough to eat the patriarchy. And I know that this book is meant to be sort of an exploration of grief and hunger and female rage wrapped in cannibalism, but it felt more like a litfic than a horror. So I read 100 pages of this. Nothing of note had happened. The event that causes the grief had happened, but I wasn't connecting to the characters. I didn't feel anything. There was no emotion, despite the fact that grief is one of my favorite emotional themes in a book. I didn't feel it. I was bored. I was waiting for the horror to kick in. It wasn't happening. I thought, how long until we get something juicy? Because I'm not here to read a litfic about, a diaspora identity of a family going through loss. I came here for cannibalism, babes. And so I read some reviews and everyone was saying that the good stuff doesn't kick off until 90% of the book, and that a lot of people mentioned that they really didn't find it horrific and that it wasn't really like Jennifer's Body, which they liken it to in the synopsis. It was just dull for me, and a lot of the more negative reviews were saying the same thing. It was dull, it wasn't scary enough, it wasn't horrific enough to be considered a horror. And yeah, so I decided to DNF it because, like I said, I picked this one up for the cannibalism, for the grossness, for the rage, and I was getting the vibe. This is a bit more of a sleepy book. So DNF'd it, but amazing cover. I love the cover with the raspberry. So then, as I said, I was at swimming yesterday and I went to the city, so I had a lot of time, and I decided to listen to an audiobook because I just didn't have, I needed to keep an eye on the children, obviously, and then on the tram, I just didn't want to read. I thought, I'll just listen. So I picked whatever was available and new into my library's catalogue, and I saw So Sad Today by Melissa Broder. And Melissa Broder is a fiction writer, and she does a lot of weird, freaky deaky, gross, sexual stuff. And I've never really loved her stuff, but I find it oddly mesmerizing. It's like I can't take my eyes away, even though I'm disgusted. So I thought, oh, let me read this nonfic of hers. So the gist of it is it's depression, sex, anxiety, and addiction. It feels like confessional essays that mimic your late night search history. So it is so Melissa Broder has massive anxiety, horny despair, and Wi-Fi, and she uses all three to write this book. It's a grossly honest essay collection that feels like scrolling through the collective subconscious of the internet's most randy, messed up girls. Broder writes about depression, addiction, eating disorders, sex, and spirituality with very confronting bluntness. She does not hold back. Her essays move from grotesque to downbeat in a heartbeat. One moment she's talking about her body dysmorphia and anxiety, and the next she's giving you a highly detailed graphic play-by-play of her intimate fantasies, featuring emetophilia. Reading this book does feel a lot like getting whiplash. Like, what the fuck, what, oh my God, that kind of situation. It's darkness alchemized into art, into empathy, into the weird comfort of knowing that there's other weirdos experiencing the same shit as you. Not as me. Couldn't relate to a lot of the things that were mentioned in this book. I'm like, no, I haven't had that experience. No, I haven't had those thoughts either. For instance, she likes to sample her own flavors, and I mean eat bits of herself and then shit herself out. Her snot, her vaginal juices. I'm gonna, end it there. I will say massive trigger warnings for everything, guys, especially addictions, eating disorders, and emetophobia. If you have emetophobia, do not touch this book at all. Don't touch it. Okay, it's not for you. It's not for you. I think it would be triggering for a lot of people. Luckily, I don't have eating disorders, addiction, or emetophobia. So I was able to just be like, be astounded by how other people move and think in this world. There's a lot of self-loathing in here. Okay, a lot about desire. And yeah, it was, I don't know how I'm going to describe it. It was an interesting time. It's one of those things, once again, where you just can't look away. You are held hostage by your own morbid curiosity. Okay, and like I said, she doesn't hold back. She's not trying to paint herself in a good light. She's just putting all of her, dark, kinky, messed up wants and needs and thoughts out there for everybody to see. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars. That was that. She narrates her own audiobook too, so she did it herself. Oh my God, that was just a random pickup. What am I going to go on to next? Not sure. I'm going to the library today. I'm going to go to 2 of my libraries today because I've got quite a few books coming to both of them. So I'll do that after swimming and read something from there. For sure, something I want has come in. Oh, Knock Knock Open Wide. That is one that has fascinated me. It's a backlist book. It's a horror, I believe. Like I said, I picked up What Hunger because I was in the mood for something ooky, spooky, creepy, because it turns out I'm a massive horror reader now. Never previously read much horror. Now this year, I think it is almost equal to fantasy. So fantasy, horror, litfic are my top 3, and then I think it's romance, sci-fi, and nonfic are the next biggest categories. But yeah, I was highly surprised by how much I've just really fallen into horror. I do mostly like psychological horror though. I'm not a slasher person, really. That's not my thing. And a lot of extreme horror, which contains graphic sexual violence, is also not for me. Or anything involving children or animals, not for me. But Knock Knock Open Wide sounds good, I think. So I think I'll definitely go into that. And yeah, some other stuff has come in. I haven't actually looked at what's come in, so you're going to find out with me. We're going to do a library haul today, and I'll catch you guys later on. Okay, I am back, guys. Oh, I feel so frazzled. Spent almost all day out. Look, we've got Nova and Sylvie. Let me show you what books I picked up. There's a few. So we've got Medea by Medusa by Rosie Hewlett. I have not had any luck with Greek mythology retellings, but I keep trying them. I persist. And then I picked up A Guest in the House by Emily Carroll. So I've tried 2 Emily Carrolls before, Love the illustrations, but I felt the stories were a little insubstantial. So we'll see how this one is, because this is a decent size. So we'll give this a go. I've got Health and Safety, a Breakdown by Emily Witt. It says it's a memoir about drugs, techno, and New York City. This one has very cool sprayed edges. Lost Book of Spells by Fiona Horn. It's also got end pages as well. And it says this grimoire weaves together over 30 years of powerful spells. So not sure what it's like, but it's got lovely formatting. Celery, Healing Thoughts for Arthritis. So we'll see. We've got Fiend by Alma Katsu, and I believe this is a horror, and I think it's a haunted house horror, maybe. It's a family who's been cursed, but horror. Got another, I'm guessing horror, No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. I love the cover for this. This is so cute. Look at all those kitties. In one Halloween-obsessed Midwestern town, everyone's on red alert after a local politician goes missing. Little do they know it's only the beginning. And then the book that I'm going to be picking up next, Knock Knock Open Wide, Look Inside, It Needs You by Neil Sharpson. So I'm going to go on to this, and then I'll probably... This one is kind of calling me, and maybe then this one. We'll see. That's everything for my errands, and then I've got to go with V to soccer practice. So either I'll read something or I'll listen to something while she does that.
Hello, little rainbow girl. Look at your little rainbow head.
Hello, my darlings. Good morning, good morning. I always have a weird fringe bit that pops out. Okay, so I was reading Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson. So this is centered, I think, on Celtic mythology. And we open up with a woman who is on her way to a house party to break up with her boyfriend. But when she gets there, he brings out a ring box and she decides, maybe I was being too hasty. Might as well marry him. So she gets a fiance. And then on her way home, driving home late at night, she spies a dead man in the middle of the road who is getting his face eaten off by some kind of rabid dog. She scares the dog away, puts the man's corpse in the back of her car, and then just goes to the first house that she can see to try and get help. And I believe something awful happens while she is at this farmhouse. And that's where I left it. So I read 100 pages. There also seems to be a children's show at play that everyone remembers a bit differently. That was a bit sinister. So that was giving Mr. Magic vibes to me. But unfortunately, it was just the writing style and I weren't getting along, and when that's the case, I can never get into the book because obviously the writing style is throughout the entire book. So I did have to DNF this one. The next book that I'm going on to is No Rest for the Wicked, Trick or Treat, Beware the Shadows You'll Meet. This is by Rachel Louise Adams. This is purely a cover pick. This would have been a great Halloween book if I'd read it for Halloween, but it just came in now. So we'll see what this is like. It's gotten mixed reviews from what I've seen so far, but there's kitties on the cover. So, you know, I love myself a pussy, so I'm going to read this. Besides that, I've got some of my daughter's friends coming over today for play dates. I was thinking about taking the girls to a frozen yogurt donut shop, maybe. The weather's just so lovely today. I currently don't have lights. The lights went out and I can't turn the breaker on. So I'm assuming it's a water issue that's tripped all the lights in the house. But it's sunny now, which is fantastic. And we also might go out to dinner with friends. So I will change my outfit. My kids will get embarrassed if I went out with a Mary Catmas top. They're not certified cat ladies yet, you know. I think there's nothing wrong with being a cat lady, but anyway, I digress. So yes, so that's on the agenda today, and I will let you know how I go. So I plan to read this and then check in with you. I might do a bit of a check-in situation since it's now the weekend and I've got time to read and then vlog it. India requested I make risotto, which is a creamy cinnamon rice pudding.
This is what I expect our Greek Christmases
to have. Yeah, well, it's hot though. I add rose water in mine.
As well.
Yeah, you can. I like it hot though. Hello, my darlings. So I did read all of No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. I know that they mentioned Halloween, but this did not feel Halloween-y. If you're coming here for Halloween vibes, they're not here, even though they say, oh, it's Halloween. That's it. It's just in words only. So let me tell you about this book. So we have Dolores Hawthorne, and she's currently a forensic pathologist. She just walked in on her husband getting ahead from his yoga instructor or something, and she's left him, and she's just received word that her father has been kidnapped. And we find out that Dolores has not gone home in 18 years. Something happened 18 years ago that caused her to walk out on her family, but she decides to return. She's been requested by the FBI to return because there was foul play suspected. And so she's just gone home. And she's met up with her stepmother. So Dolores is the only child from her father's original marriage. And her stepmother has had 2 children. Her stepmother is a piece of work, let me tell you. And we're just getting sort of hints as to what happened to Dolores. And I don't think this is a spoiler because the book revolves heavily around this, and she was essayed. So when you're reading it, you don't quite understand why that caused her rift with her dad, because it's alluded to that her and her dad were they were buddies, they were best friends, they had an extremely close bond, and that this thing happened to her. Her stepmother helped her cover it up, and Dolores believed that her father never knew about it. So I was like, if you're that close to your parent, wouldn't you tell them, or wouldn't your parent want to know why you don't see them anymore? If my child just left home and didn't say boo, no, I would be on a plane to wherever they are to be like, honey, what's going on? So that was a bit bizarre. But anyway, suppose she goes back to her former town. I think it was in Wisconsin. Was it Wisconsin? Let me just check. Wisconsin. Midwestern, Wisconsin, yes. And this town is infamous for murders that tend to occur on Halloween. And wouldn't you know it, Halloween's around the corner. For some reason, I thought this was going to be more. So anyway, she returns back. She teams up with the FBI to crack the case. While they're investigating her father's disappearance, people start getting murdered. People that her father associated with. So there seems to be a bigger plot afoot. And she's somehow involved because now the murderer is leaving notes for her, and she's not quite sure how she fits into what's going on. Now, this is thriller, mystery, horror. I wouldn't call it a horror, okay? So I went into it thinking the horror part would be a big part, because even the cover alone, like with all these cats and stuff, this is giving horror, something creepy. Also, before I even get into that, cats on the cover, barely any cats. So how do the cats come into play? Well, in the town somehow there was some sort of kitten promo thing, and lo and behold, all the cats procreated, and now the town is run over by cats because they can't cope with the amount of cats, and they're just going and killing the cats. But the cats keep reproducing, and that's all it is. That's all it is about the cats in this town. There's just a lot of cats in the town, and the town's trying to kill them off. Why are they on the cover? This is catfishing. This is literally catfishing all the cat people into reading this. And what do we get for it? We just get to hear about how they're killing the stray cat population. Cool, man. Anyway, as I was saying, this is very much thriller with a bit of the mystery, because you're trying to solve an old murder mystery in that too. But it's thriller because you've got an active killer on the loose, and the main character seems to be targeted. And then you've got all the essay stuff. So there's more essay stuff in this of children, of underage children. So there's some small town dynamics in play. There's a character in here who's a cop, and she's a cow. She's an absolute cow, and I still don't understand fully why she could be such a cow. Instead of just like, you're an adult now, just tell the person why you're being nasty to them, instead of saying, I'm just nasty to everybody. But no, you're not. You're being specifically nasty to this person for a specific reason. So tell them. She also works in law enforcement too. It's like, be a professional. Look, a lot of things irritated me. I read it all the way through because it's a thriller. Thrillers, by their nature, they're engaging because you want to find out, okay, how does this all tie up in the end? How does it all work out? Do I think it's worth reading? No, I'm sorry. It's a 3-star overall, and that's probably generous. It's probably more like a 2.75. I'm going to give it 2.75 because, there wasn't a lot that I enjoyed. I was irritated by every character in this book. Pretty much, except one of the FBI agents, but not really. Actually, pretty much every character in this book. I felt the most sorry for one who was innocent and caught up in this by association and by assumption. And I was like, well, they didn't really, and they suffered for it too. They paid a price, and they're completely innocent. They did nothing wrong. And I'm like, that's a bit shit. And then they don't get a happy ending either. They get rejected again. And I'm like, that's not, this sucks. This sucks. So yeah, Also, yeah, nothing happens to the stepmother and it's awful. Check the trigger warnings for this. There is forced abortions, for instance, and medical malpractice and just a lot of stuff. But like I said, I think I'm angry because this is so misleading. This is not indicative of the book. This even gets a bit of paranormal, and it definitely leans more into the Halloween. Like, why mention Halloween so much? It just happens to be, you know, Halloween on one of the days that she's back in her hometown for. But I don't know, look, I think if you are a thriller reader, maybe you'll enjoy it. It's, you know, a lot about family dynamics and secrets and legacies and corruption and and a lot to do with the forensic stuff too, because she's a forensic pathologist, so she goes through the crime scenes forensically. But man, what a letdown. I should have DNF'd it, but like I said, I wanted to know what happened. I wanted to know what happened, so it's sucking me in. What am I going to read next? I don't know. You know what I might do? I'm going to do a try chapter from all the physical books I've got. I've got a lot of physical books. I'll do a try chapter, and whichever one excites me the most, I'll go on to that. That's what I'll do. But right now, I am editing my Christmas vlog, so I'm going to get back onto that, and I'll see you guys later. Sorry for the bump. I bumped you. Oh, my sweetie. They ran out of the ice cream that you wanted. There was like nothing there. It's quite expensive too, you're right. Only 3. Yochi's the best frozen yogurt. The best one.
The vanilla tastes sour.
Yeah, they don't taste good. Popped into the library, picked this book up. I have a feeling it's dark romance, but give it a go. It's okay, Mummy still gets its too.
That's a good sign.
Good morning, my lovely people. I am severely sleep deprived, so bear with me. But I thought, since I'm going to be stuck at home today because they've forecast heavy rain and I have to be on hand to deal with flooding, I thought, yeah, let's do the try chapter thing today. I've got nothing else to do. It's a cozy Sunday at home. So let me tell you which books I'm going to be doing a chapter from. And when I say try a chapter, I mean I will read 20 pages at the minimum from each book to make sure each book gets a fair shot. So we have Medusa by Rosie Hewlett, Fiend by Alma Katsu, A Guest in the House by Emily Carroll, Health and Safety, a breakdown by Emily Witt, and Lost Book of Spells by Fiona Horn. So I'm going to try a chapter of all of these to pick the next book that I'm going to continue on with. Okay, so I'm going to start with Health and Safety. So let's give this a go. I remember a date, the 1st of July 2016. Okay, so I read 22 pages of this. So in this book, this seems to be a nonfic. For some reason, I thought it was a litfic, but it's a nonfic. And it's about Emily Witt and her, I guess you could say, journey from going off of antidepressants into psychedelics. So far I've read her try ayahuasca. She's tried ayahuasca and her experience with it. And I assume then we'll go through some other psychedelics like MDMA, psilocybin, ketamine. So look, I am kind of interested. As you know, I am someone who takes psilocybin for their mental health once a year, and it did save my life. So I'm interested to see what her experiences are and how it affects her life. I think it's also woven with the current climate of her life. So she's in New York, and so we've got mentions of American politics and the cataclysm of 2020. So I assume it's going to juxtapose both what's happening in her external environment and what's happening internally with her use of psychedelic drugs, which some people use them for fun and escapism. Some people use them for spiritual practices, and some people use them to improve their mental health. So for me, it's a spiritual and mental health practice. So what would I rate the first 20 pages in regards to my interest? Out of 10, I'll give it a 6.5. 6.5 for the first book. So the next book that I'm going to go on to is Fiend by Alma Katsu.
No blue.
Blue.
Was that all of them? That was all of them. Okay. What about the manuscript? The one about the king and poison, maybe? Oh, and the one where she's thinking about the door. Like, what does that mean? Those are my 3 contenders. Okay, I've decided I'm gonna go with the one about the book because I'm realizing this is fantasy, so maybe it's a magical book, and I could like a magical book.
well.
So is it witches?
Okay, so I haven't read much because my dad ended up popping by to try and help me by drilling holes into my gutter just for a temporary fix to see if it can stop the water coming in, because we've got, like I said, a big storm today. So he's just left and I've just read 20 pages of Fiend. So we're starting off with a character. What was her name again? Something to start with M. Maris, and they're Albanian, and she works for her father, and they've just gotten wind of a whistleblower, and it's very political leaning, and I don't care about that stuff. So the way, yeah, I've read 20 pages. I would rate this a 3 of interest. I actually don't know if I would even bother going on with this. Normally I give books 50 pages, but this just, I don't know, there's nothing about it that's interested me. So I actually think I'm going to DNF this one. Hey guys, so I just read actually over 20 pages because these aren't numbered, and then I realized they're not numbered, of A Guest in the House by Emily Carroll. I'm really enjoying this. So I love the illustration style. It's mostly black and white, and then you'll get a few of these hyper vivid reds and blue colored pages, and it's about, I don't even know if I know her name, Abby, I think that's her name. And she's just married this single widowed father who has a daughter, and they've moved to a new town into a house by a lake, and the daughter is painting pictures of her dead mother and saying that she's going to join her soon. And Abby's gone to the dad and said, maybe we should consider counselling for Crystal, the child. And Dad's like, no, we're not doing that. He's coming off as a bit of a douche. He sometimes quietly negs her, mentions that the house could be tidier, and I don't like the vibe. Abby seems to be very people-pleasing and meek and quiet, and like she feels like she's a guest in the house, that she is an interloper, that she doesn't really belong, she doesn't really fit in, and I guess she's living in the shadow of the dead artist wife, and she's trying to learn how to be a stepmom and a wife and a mother, and I guess by now having a label, she's feeling like she's actually gained more of a form, where before she felt rather formless. It's interesting. It can be quite, there's a little bit of violent depictions. So she was just like looking in the mirror, and then all of a sudden she's ripping her throat out. So I said the reds and the blues are generally depicting violence and viscera and gore. But yeah, I'm highly intrigued. So far, this is the one I'll probably go on to next. So I've given this an 8 out of 10 for interest and intrigue. My ex-mother-in-law just stopped by, and she's taken Indy out for lunch. So I've just had, some unexpected visitors and things, so I'm a bit behind, but I think I've got 3 more books to try. But so far, this is leading the way. Okay guys, so I read 35 pages of Medusa. It opens with the line, "I was beautiful once. I would not recommend it." And it's written in a very modern language. So she'll say things like, Kronos was a real killjoy. And I am not into it, as I suspected. I don't know what it is. I love Greek mythology, but I have not found a retelling that I've enjoyed. But we're just going into her backstory, that she was given by her mother to a priestess, a human priestess to raise. She's just met her sisters, and she says how eventually she becomes synonymous with monsters, even though her name Medusa means to protect. Hey Sylvie. In terms of going on, I'm not going on with this. So this was also a 3 in intrigue, and it's just not what I'm going to read. I'm going to DNF it. I've got 2 left. So I'm going to go on to Ruthless Creatures by S.T. Geisinger next. And then after that is the Grimoire. Okay, so I read 22 pages of this. Where do I begin? Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Okay, so we have our main character, Nat. And Nat has just gotten dumped by a guy she was seeing, but she hadn't had sex with yet. Nat has some lore about her in that a couple of years ago, she was jilted by her fiancé on the day of their wedding. He didn't rock up, and he's been missing ever since. And she hasn't really gotten over it. Anyway, she meets up with her best friend. It's very high on the, oh, we're so funny, like everything they're saying is hilarious sort of angle. And they've gone to a bar, and there's a a piratey looking dude there. They make a lot of Jack Sparrow, Black Pearl jokes, and her best friend goes to hit on him and he knocks her down. And then she asks him for a ride back to her house because it turns out he's just moved into the house next door to her, so they're neighbours. And he says to her, when she says, like, you know, since we live next door, I was asking if we could catch a ride with you because my friend and I are too drunk to drive home. And he says, sorry, princess, if you're looking for a knight in shining armour, you're looking in the wrong fucking place. Obviously, this is a dark romance. So, judging by the cover. So I knew the guy was going to be a dick. But anyway, apart from that, I do not like the way it's written. These ladies tend to be cat haters as well. We've gotten so much cat hate in the first chapter alone. And I'm like, well, that's a way to alienate your audience. A lot of women are cat lovers. Anyway, let me read you some of the dialogue. Don't be sarcastic. I can't help it if my vag closed up shop. If you don't get a dig up in that hot pocket soon, it's going to grow over. You'll never be able to have sex again. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of humor that is just saturating this book. Every sentence is a sentence like that. And I'm not finding it funny. I'm finding it overdone, exaggerated, too much. The main character is a bit of a soggy wet blanket, which understandably so. She's obviously depressed. But just the dude already, that's his first interaction with her when she's just asking, hey, so we're neighbours. Would you mind if we called a lift home with you back to our house and welcome to the neighbourhood? And that's what he says, like, fuck off. And no, I'm not into it. I really don't think dark romance is my thing. And I think it's high time that I stop trying it because it gives me the ick. I'm just not into men that act this way. And yeah, the way it's written, it's not for me. This is somebody else's yum. This is yuck for me. And yeah, I'm DNFing that. What would I even rate that? That's a 1 for interest. I have no interest in this book whatsoever. So now we're going on to the grimoire. Okay, guys, so I've read 42 pages of this. I got a bit carried away because this is just so easy to read and it is so beautifully done. I'll put a picture up above of the way that this is formatted and the illustrations. It is absolutely sublime. I am blown away by the artwork and the way that they've structured this. I think it's very accessible. I think it's fantastic for beginners. So in the first 40 or so pages, we talked about spell casting, and then we talked about smudging rituals, moon and sun magic. I am a sun magic girly, especially at noontime is my preferred time of the day. Deosil and Widdershins. So it also explains that if you are in the southern hemisphere, then it's reversed. So to do Deosil is anti-clockwise and Widdershins is clockwise in the south. And then we have, like I said, the illustrations, stunning. And then we went on to rainbows, so rainbow work, and they do mention Aboriginal folklore and mythology in this as well, which I think is fantastic. That's wonderful. How to make, we've got like I said, the moon rituals and the sun rituals, and then it goes into the Sabbats. So it lists them there, and it also lists the northern and the southern hemisphere dates. So for instance, Samhain, which is, I guess, what most people know as Halloween, is on the 31st of October in the northern hemisphere, but our Samhain is on the 1st of May. So like I said, even though we say Halloween still here too, it's actually not Samhain for us in the southern hemisphere. So we have different dates. So I appreciate they've got the dates there. They've got little celebrations that you can do on the Sabbats. Then it goes into crystal work, so different crystals and their energies. And yeah, if you know me, you know that I'm a crystal bitch. I spend a ridiculous amount of money on pretty rocks, but I love them. They make me happy. It's like nature's jewels. Well, jewels are nature's jewels, Chanel, but you know what I mean. Like cheaper jewels than, say, if I wanted to buy a cut diamond or ruby. Then we've got some magical herbs. So I just put a few. Rosemary is one of my favorites. I'm very blessed that I have a rosemary bush that was from my late grandmother, and I value it dearly. And they say that rosemarys thrive in the gardens of fierce women. So I'm very happy that mine is flourishing. Then we've got some zodiac herbs. So if you're a Scorpio like myself, basil, guarana, and patchouli are our herbs, and we are the most intense of the zodiac archetypes. We are capable of being a celibate hermit, which has been me for the last 3.5 years, and then we can be a lusty animal the next. Me when I'm in a relationship. So yes, I agree with that duality. Then there's some color breathing. So if you've ever done meditation, it's like you're envisioning that you are inhaling a color, or you're envisioning that you're being soaked or cloaked in a color or an aura. So it tells you, you know, so gold symbolizes sunshine, and it infuses you with warmth, positivity, energy, and brightens your outlook. So it's not going in depth into things. So I've stopped at witchy yoga of the breath. So we've got the color and the root chakra here. So now it's delving into Ayurvedic sort of practices. So we've got red, which is a Muladhara root chakra, and it's associated with our sense of safety, security, and stability, and represents our connection to the earth, survival instincts, and ability to feel grounded and rooted in the present moment. And then after that, we're going on to magical baths. It's just, but like, God, fuck, look at this. Like, are you kidding me? Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. So I am obsessed with this. I probably shouldn't show nudity on here in imagery, but just absolutely gorgeous. So at the moment, like I said, it's not going in depth into anything, and I'll see if that is the case. It's just touching lightly on everything, but fantastic. This is like a 9 out of 10. I lost track of time. I was just reading, and then realized, oh, I've blown past 20 pages. It was very easy to read. So I am going to continue on with this, and I'm also going to do a guest in the house, or whatever it was called, because it's a graphic novel, so it'll be quick for me to read as well. So I'm going to read these 2 books. These will be the final 2 books for this reading vlog. But yeah, this is just so beautifully done. I'm obsessed. So what's this? How to make another notice you. Whenever I just see that word, I think, notice me, senpai, notice me. But what is the spell for that? Goddess, heed my desire. Make the one I love feel my ardor. For the good of all, with harm to none. With free will, let there be love. And they use red apples, red pens, liquid honey, and 3 drops of violet essential oil with a pink ribbon. Look, I don't really do spell work like that. It's more sort of intention setting and energy clearing and meditation and using my words to announce my intention and desire and will into the world rather than amassing ingredients. I do cleanse with herbs. I think my stepmom was going to give me some frankincense resin because that is my favorite. My mum also used to bundle up sage and things for me to smudge. So yeah, it's more that I don't tend to do the spell work, but yeah, I'll use crystals as well, you know, for their energetic properties. Like this is pyrite, and this is meant to be attraction of money and wealth. So when I sit down to trade for the day, I normally hold the crystal and set my intention to make a profit, to trade well, to seize the opportunities for profit, etc., etc. It's, you know, does it work? Who knows, guys? It's just about, I don't know, reconfiguring your energy. I think vibration, energy, mental state all matters, and I think if it gives you a sense of direction and optimism and motivation, what's the harm? But yeah, actually amassing ingredients and doing spells and chanting and whatnot, it's not my practice, but I've been enjoying reading all the other little things in here and seeing what they've done and what they've read, because also we all have different associations with different things. So plants I might have a different association with the energy that I get from that plant compared to somebody else. So it's also a bit personal, but like I said, I think too, if you're a beginner, this is very accessible in the way it's written. It's easy. It's giving you a taste of everything. It's like a sample plate or platter, if you will. I miss the actress who played Lucille Bluth. She was a delight. But yeah, I will go on with those 2 books. I'm going to take a break now and just chill out and veg out. I've had a very busy Sunday, and it is the day that I'm meant to relax and recenter myself for another week, because I'm taking my car in on Monday, and I'll see if they can actually fix it too. It'd be wonderful if they could just keep it there and get it fixed, and then I can drive easy on the road knowing my car is not a breath away from falling apart. So yes, I'll touch base with you guys once I have read the next book.
Christmas macarons. We've got cranberry, pistachio, gingerbread. I predict the gingerbread will be my favorite.
Good morning, guys. So I did finish reading The Lost Book of Spells by Fiona Horn. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Like I said, even though I'm not much of a spellcaster, I still enjoyed the reading experience, and the way it was formatted was exquisite. It was a delight to read. So I think if you are someone who's looking to get into spells, or if you're new to witchcraft, this is a great book for you. But it was interesting to read, and there were some little snippets in there that I thought, that's inspired me. So I absolutely love that. I will now be going on to A Guest in the House and finishing that off for this last mood reading vlog of 2025. Crazy, bruh, just crazy. So yeah, it is Sylvie. Sylvie agrees. My beautiful Sylvie cat. And I've got Bluebell ripping up my jeans on the bed. So yes, I will be finishing that off. I'm just going to get my car assessed, and maybe I'll be leaving it there to get fixed today. We'll see. I did also want to stop by an op shop and donate a whole bunch of stuff. As you know, Valentine cleared out her whole room, and Indy was actually quite, what's the word? Disciplined, in that she didn't take everything. So there's lots of things we can give to other people. So that's wonderful. But yes, I'll see you guys once I have finished A Guest in the House. Okay guys, so I've just finished A Guest in the House by Emily Carroll. I'll put that down because Flea's in the background. As I was saying previously, it's about a woman who marries a widowed father, and then she starts seeing the ghost of the former ex-wife, and she's also trying to connect with the stepdaughter, and then things get really weird. It's very uncanny visuals and dream logic storytelling. There's some horror in there, like there's some legitimate, really gross and disgusting imagery, as well as it's touching on grief and domesticity, and the dad seems a bit gaslighty. And then it's got the fairy tale element in that the main character, Abby, she sees dragons and knights and princesses. How do I feel about it? The art is stunning. I am obsessed with the art. It's very moody and cinematic, and it's full of these little visual gut punches, which is made more apparent by the shocking contrast of adding the blood red and the electric blue. And it's expressed beautifully with this mythic imagery and domestic unease. Like it captures it well with the black and white and then the use of color. So I love the illustrations. However, the pacing was weird and fragmented. Like it's very eerie. The book is very eerie, but it's also really confusing. So I've had this issue with Emily Carroll before, where I love the illustration style. I like the idea of the story, but it just isn't executed in a way that's satisfying to me. Like the ending is it just drops it at a cliffhanger, essentially. And she's done this before. I've called her books cock teasers, where she'll finish the story right where you've gotten something's happened, and then you're just left uncertain how it ends. And I hate that. Give me a proper ending. Why are you just dropping it there? It's a premature ending. Take me to completion, please. So I'm giving it a 3.5. Like I said, I loved the illustrations in this book particularly. I like the idea, but I'm left with too many unanswered questions and frustrated by it. So that was the final book. So let me sum up all the books I read for this final reading vlog of 2025. So I read The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. And this is a romantasy about love, power, and the terrible cost of keeping the lights on, magically speaking. Then I read Exiles by Mason Coyle. And this is a locked room psychological thriller where astronauts and rogue robots on Mars unravel each other's secrets. So Sad Today by Melissa Broder, a confessional mixtape of anxiety, lust, and cosmic despair. Then we have No Rest for the Wicked by Rachel Louise Adams. A forensic pathologist returns to her Halloween-obsessed town to unravel her father's disappearance and the deadly secrets buried beneath it. The Lost Book of Spells by Fiona Horn. Are you cold as a witch's tit? There's a spell for that. And the final read was A Guest in the House by E.M. Carroll. A lonely woman marries into a haunted family and gets dragged into a spiral of ghosts, art, and mythic dread. And those were all of the books. Until next year, guys. Stay wild, Star Child.